Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie, and this is my Shaman Memoirs channel. I want to first thank you for your patience as I went on my hiatus. However, you guys know I'm a career girl. So things at work have been getting a lot better. So now I'm going to be able to get back into slowly filming. So be patient with me as I get back into the groove of things. And I'm going to be going back into doing my accessories and also starting to write my autobiography. So, yeah, I know a lot of people in my life, they're always like, how do you do it all, Tassie? My mental health and my sleep, everything gets cut off. So it's just pretty bad. I do a lot of things to keep myself very, very busy. All right. So the big news, you guys, I will be doing a giveaway since I have reached over 10,000 subscribers. So thank you to you guys all these years of randomly listening to my stories. This really started off with me just telling a bunch of ghost stories and things that happened to me and then about my shaman journey. So thank you to you guys for even tuning in and wanting to hear my crazy zaniness. So thank you. Now, I really did think about what is the best way to give back to all of you guys for all these years of putting up with my stories and all my rants and tangents. So I really wanted to be able to do a giveaway where I can have a 30-minute session with just you. So I will be doing it for 3 individuals. You do not have to be Hmong. However, you must be 18 years or older to participate in this giveaway. Now, with this all being said, how do you participate? So when I upload this video to Facebook, all you have to do is just share it. And once you share it, I will enter you into the drawing, and then I will announce it during my next video on who the winner is. And then I'll be reaching out to you guys via social media as well to set up our 30-minute session. Now, you guys can ask me anything you guys want. So I know I'm not a practicing shaman, actively practicing shaman, which means I don't have a shrine up for people to come and ask for services from me. However, that doesn't mean, as you guys know, that doesn't mean I still don't know things and see things and I can look at things, right? So with that being said, this is just something I'm only allowing for now. It is not going to be an ongoing kind of a thing. I know a lot of you guys do write to me on social media or via email. And then sometimes my guides, I don't choose when it happens, okay? I usually don't have this kind of energy, but my guides will keep bugging me and tell me, pick this one, because they want to write back to you. So I have reached out to quite a few of you guys on social media regarding your guys' questions and issues, and then whatever my guides are allowing me to tell you guys. So we will be doing a similar session for 30 minutes with just me, and then we'll be scheduling that out depending on your schedule and my schedule. So again, thank you guys for your patience as I'm coming back into filming, and thank you for all your years of support. All right, so a little update about me. Back in December last year in 2021, my father actually passed away, and they ended up doing his funeral in January of this year here, 2022. And I'm totally okay. I'm not looking for a bunch of condolences from everybody. My father and I, we had a very odd relationship because he wasn't really in my life. We really didn't know him. If we ever saw him, it was very seldom, far and few in between. I think the last time I saw him, we didn't know he was coming into town to Minnesota. And the night of, he just mentioned he was here. And then, you give them money and that's about it. That's the extent of the relationship. Before that exact moment, and this was probably 5 years ago, the last time I saw him. And then before that was probably 10 years. So, like my father and I, we pretty much did not have much of a relationship. However, I did do something spiritually to make sure that he made it to the other side. Now, this was really just my last thing I could do for him as his daughter. But I genuinely did not have a relationship with him. I do not hold any type of animosity towards him whatsoever. It's kind of a weird dynamic. It's just you're aware that they are there. It's kind of like the neighbor that you grew up with, and he was a really nice neighbor. So my father, he did pass away. However, I'm doing okay, you guys. Again, I'm not looking for a bunch of condolences because it was a weird relationship. Okay, I think it's more so me. I think because of how I interpret certain relationships, like my siblings, they sometimes say, and I acknowledge it too, that sometimes I'm missing a sensitivity chip where I'm so realistic about things, not so much emotional. I'm not a very emotional person. So it's gonna sound weird no matter how I try to explain it. I remember when my boyfriend found out, he had a really great relationship with his father, and his father had passed away years and years before I met him. So, you know, it was like really traumatic for him when he found out that my father passed away. And so he kept like tiptoeing around the house and like watching me from corners, see how I was doing. And I'm like living in my own world, totally fine because I'm kind of weird. And so he was just kind of like waiting for like a bomb to drop where I was like gonna break down or something. But it wasn't like that. I don't have that kind of relationship. So just letting you guys know though, that is the biggest update in my life since I stopped filming back in November there, and then that happened. And so that is not the reason why I was not filming, you guys. Genuinely, I was just really busy doing 12+ hour days at work. Okay. Oh, and Zenith. Now I know some of y'all are gonna be like, Tassie's kind of crazy, like her father just passed away. And you know, like I had to explain that to my boyfriend. Okay, it's more weird me trying to explain it to other people, but you know, it's like this, I don't want it to be like this elephant in the room, but at the same time, it's kind of awkward and weird for me to talk about it because I don't have that kind of relationship. So it's kind of hard for people to really understand where I'm coming from if you've never had that kind of relationship, or you're not the kind of person who's like me. Ghostly update time, you guys. So, a lot has happened since I last filmed. So as you guys know, I mentioned my brother owns a fourplex, and that place is wild, and okay, it is just wild with spirits there. Now, one of the units, I refuse to be alone in those units. I just can't. There's times where even if we're all outside and I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to grab this and it's in the house, but everybody is outside, I will muster courage and just like do it, you know, just do it. So I go into the house and I'm like, oh, you know, like you're like being a really strong person and you're like, I'm not scared, right? And then I'm grabbing what I need. I'm trying to like walk out of the house calmly and like, I got this. And then you just freak out and you just flip and you're just like screaming and running out of the house. So yeah, that's how bad it is at this house. But anyways, so I'm totally fine if other people are with me in this one unit in particular. So my siblings and I, we were all hanging out, and one of my sisters, she had to run to the store to run errands, and then me and my other younger sister and I, we didn't want to go because we were really addicted to Zenith. All right, on Facebook I had uploaded that we've been playing the VR a lot, and we've been playing Zenith. So we're playing Zenith, and it's just us and the dog. So the dog is in the in the bedroom taking a nap, and my sister and I were both in the living room. Now I'm situated right in front of the bathroom, and then there's the door to go to the bedroom, and then my sister, she's by the windows in the kitchen. So we're playing Zenith, and then eventually I decide to take a break because I'm a smoker. So I was like, I'm gonna go outside. I take off my headset, and as I do, I'm looking right into the bathroom, and I see a ghost woman in there. But you know me, it's not a big deal, okay? Like, they live there, okay? What are you gonna do? So I take my headset off, I set it down, and I go outside. And then when I'm done with my cigarette, I come inside, and I don't see my sister by the window because she's not playing, and I'm looking for her, and she's actually in the bedroom, and she's freaking out because apparently when I had left, she didn't know I had left, even though I told her I'm going to go smoke now, I'm leaving. But when you're in the VR, you know, it's like you're in a different world. You're not really paying attention sometimes. So she was talking to me, and she got kind of weirded out because she didn't know I had left already. And so she was talking to me, and I wasn't responding to her. So she thought I was in the bathroom. So she removes her VR, and she goes look for me, and she goes into the bathroom, and then she realizes it's empty. Tassie's not here. And then all of a sudden she hears a girl giggling. And then she's freaking out, and then at the exact same moment, the dog is having like a nightmare. It's like starting to shake because sometimes it seems like the dog is getting sat on. So then my sister's freaking out. She runs over and she's like trying to wake up the dog. And so she was just really, really scared. And then like after she told me, I'm kind of like, because you know, I saw the ghost, but it's, I mean, like, what am I gonna do? Tell you to also come outside with me to have a cigarette when you don't smoke? Like, it's just one of those things where, you know, you just go through life when you see them. It's not a big deal. But this sister, she does have a tendency of hearing ghosts all the time. And boy, has it been interesting with her. Now, the same day, okay, we'll get back to that sister. that same day, after the whole issue, right, we ended up going back on the VR, and then finally we finished playing the VR. We're just relaxing. Now we're deciding if we're gonna cook. So then my sister, she's like, okay, I need to go upstairs and run and grab something really quick. So there's two ways to go upstairs to the other unit. You either go out to the back to the deck and then climb the stairs and go up there that way, or you go through the house. And if you go through the house, you have to open up a door, and then right as you open the door, there is another door to the side to go to the basement where you do laundry. Now this door, we frequently hear somebody trying to open it. It's always rattling, and there are times where that door is open and nobody opened it. It's just open, you know. And so anyways, so, and then once you go past that door, you know, you go to the staircase, and then you climb up the stairs to the other unit. So, you know, my sister's like, okay, I'm just gonna be really quick. I'm gonna go grab something, but I'm gonna be alone in the house with just the dog, and the dog is hiding. So I'm like, okay, it's like, you know, like I'm trying to be strong, and I'm like, okay, go ahead. You know, you can go upstairs, grab your thing, come right back. So my sister, she's going, and she passes, and this is her exact words. She opened up the main entry door for the downstairs unit. She looks at the basement door, and it's closed. Now this door, it's not like wind can push this door open. You have to twist the knob for the door to open, okay? So my sister goes past the door. She goes upstairs. She's not up there for even like 30 seconds, okay? It's literally you just grab it and close that unit, and you're coming back down. And then when she's coming back down, I can hear her coming down because she wears these, what I call metal coquia. She wears these really hard plastic slippers, okay? So I always make fun of her, and I tell her that she's wearing metal flip-flops, basically. And so I can hear her clompering down the stairs, right, with these metal things. Anyways, so she's headed back down the stairs, and she starts screaming, and I hear her racing back up the stairs. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go and just see what was wrong. So then I'm running all the way over to the door, and as I'm holding onto the door, about to pull it open, I'm like, boom, I feel like there's a ghost on the other side. But I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. So I open the door, and the basement door is looking right at me. So that door has swung all the way open, and so I'm like, no, and I slam the door shut, and I'm like in those freaking movies, you guys, I'm struggling trying to lock this door. Yes, you guys, Tassie locked a door because there was a ghost on the other side. Okay, it's the same theory of when you're laying in bed and you're scared and you throw a blanket over you, okay? Like the ghost cannot go through the blanket, okay? Like, yes, you guys, I'm struggling to lock that door. And then I run out of the house to the other side. My sister had screamed and ran through the whole upstairs unit, ran to the deck, and then as I'm coming out of the downstairs unit, she's coming downstairs from the deck, and we're both screaming. Oh man, it was just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare because I know that door cannot open on its own, and I'm not trying to go through that hallway. So we end up like chilling out downstairs together. Like, we're not acknowledging that door, we're not opening that hallway, we don't care, it can stay open. And then another sister who doesn't live there, she comes over for dinner that night, right? And we convinced her to I literally just said, hey, can you open up that door and close the other door behind it? And her not knowing what happened is like, yeah. So she goes ahead and doesn't close the door, and my sister and I were both like, oh my god, because we knew what happened. It was just a nightmare, man. But that house is just, it's just wild and mad. Now, I frequently sleep over there because I like to hang out with my siblings, okay? And sometimes my sister, she frequently sleeps over at my place too. But my sister and I, we do this annoying thing when we sleep, okay? Like, I don't even know when it started, okay? Like, I don't even know why I take the L for the team. Like, I try to convince my sister, buckle up, it's time for you to play for the team now. Because when my sister and I, like, in that unit that I won't be alone in, I must always sleep with somebody. I will not sleep alone on a bed. I know that, no. Even though I could have the whole living room, there's a pull-out bed and everything, I will not sleep by myself in that unit. And so, anyways, whenever my sister and I sleep together, unfortunately, I do this thing where I have to take the spot where they believe she's gonna go. Because that sister, dun, 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 she talks to ghosts. And we discover this when she was sleeping at my house one day. I realized she gets up and she talks to ghosts in her sleep. So she's not aware, but then she hears them all the time and it's driving her crazy. And I'm like, girl, it's because you do it to yourself. You talk to them. Of course, that's why you hear them. But anyway, so frequently whenever we sleep, I have to tell her where she's sleeping and how we're sleeping. There was a time when we were sleeping with our head by the feet, until I think like the second time we did that, the ghost finally looked me in the eye because it was looking for us. And then when it saw me and we both looked at each other, I was like, okay, I give up. So then we had to switch back to where we were sleeping, our heads and where we put it. And then my sister, she's always like, just so well rested. But for me, like every night when I lay there, the ghost will come thinking I'm my sister, and then I shoot up and I'm just staring at the ghost, and then the ghost will like look away and then it'll go away, and I'm just like, so that we're always frequently switching positions in bed. Every night it is a new position, and sometimes I'm like, you know, like I just need to like just let her deal with it because I'm tired, okay? I am a pretty light sleeper, so I frequently wake up constantly. And my sister is pretty annoyed too because I'm constantly awake. And sometimes I have to climb over her body, and you know, I'm not really good at climbing over her. So basically, I'm just stepping on her, like, just get out of my way. I'm trying to get up here. But the whole point is, I'm just exhausted, okay? Like, why do I always have to be the one to do this? And now, recently, I was asked to tie a string on two of my sisters. One, she was going to be traveling, but she's been having a lot of dreams about me. And just so you guys know, hint, 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 hint. If you guys have dreams about me, guarantee it's probably not me in your dream, okay? You have to understand, what do I symbolize in your mind? So when you see me, you just know it is a very important message. It is more than likely not just a dream. It is something serious for you to pay attention to. So if you keep dreaming about me, it's not me you guys are dreaming about. It is what I signify in your mind, and your mind creates it, so you're supposed to pay attention when I appear in your dream. What is the message? Because it's telling you to really do something. This has happened to many of my friends. This has happened to my family. Whenever they dream about me, stuff's about to go down in their dream. Usually it's not a good dream. So anyways, I tied strings onto my sisters. And, you know, it's one of those things kind of like when I hooplee for people. You know, I hoongo, and then I start to see all sorts of stuff. And so, like, for my sister who talks to ghosts a lot when she's unconscious, she has a dragon. And my spirit guides showed me, like, tying a string around the dragon's mouth to get it to stop talking. But I told them, no, you can't do this. Like, we should not do this, because so she stops hearing ghosts, right? It will hurt her in the long run if I do this. So for me, I'm like, I know that could be an answer, but we shouldn't do it. This should not be the way, basically. So don't do that if you guys tend to talk to ghosts. Okay, don't tie a string around any of your spirit guides' mouths. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about being tested by spirit guides, and, you know, what are you supposed to be overcoming, right? Because I find that for shamans who are not master shamans yet, there are a multitude of things that they actually struggle with in their real life. You know, I mean, it can range from family, respect, support, not having it. It can range from struggling with your spirit guides or your abilities. And I think that what is the biggest thing that shamans tend to struggle with, it's their confidence, right? It is, you know, it goes hand in hand with understanding their spirit guides and their abilities. But a lot of shamans really lack confidence. And I was actually asked this, like, where did I get my confidence from? You know, because this is something that they're really trying to work at, and it's something that they've been struggling. Now, you know, I'm just a brat, you guys. Because, like, you know, when I look back at when I was younger, you know, I've always been a certain way where I tend not to listen to people. I don't know what it is, you guys. I have a really bad time just listening and believing people. I tend to just do my own way anyways. I don't know why. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it stems from if I don't trust or believe in a person, I'll just be like, and then bam, I go and I do my own thing. So, you know, I really just don't know. It's always been inside of me where I've always, onya, you know, and basically that means, you know, you're always taking charge. You're always bossy, pretty much. So, yeah, I'm just kind of a bossy person. But once I became a shaman, I didn't realize that this was such a big struggle in the shaman community where, you know, people who need to trust their gut, they just can't. They don't know how. People who need to hear voices, they just don't understand if it's their voice, if it's their imagination, you know, and it's so hard because no two shamans are alike. No two shamans are going to be able to have all of the exact same experiences. It's just because it comes down to what do you as an individual need to work on, and that is what you're going to get tested on. And so, for example, you know, like I don't get tested on being able to talk and communicate with ghosts and spirits and seeing them, right? And I recently just asked, and I don't know why, you guys, don't ask me why it took me this long to ask them. But then one day I finally asked them, why can I talk and see ghosts? Okay. I don't know why. It was one of those things where I just accepted it. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, like it's just, it's if it's something that's didn't happen before and suddenly it happened, yeah, I'd want to know why. But if you've been seeing it since you were a kid, you just kind of adapted to it. You know, you didn't question it. But then my guides actually told me I'm supposed to bring people to the other side. And then a few weeks ago, I actually had a dream where there was a long line of people and they were waiting for me to take them to the other side. And this other guy was standing there and he's like, these are the people waiting. You need to take them to the other side. And what did I do? I just like, that. I walked away. Like, you know, that's just what I do. Okay, so I know. Eventually one day I will be going back. But until that day comes, I'm going to keep running. And I think what also doesn't help people, it's going to be those hardcore believers. You know, the ones who are like naysayers, who are pretty much are always like, no, only true shamans are exactly like this. You know, like you have to be nearly on the brink of death and then you can become a shaman. Or you have to be born a shaman, right? Like you had to have symptoms since you were born, okay? So I will tell you guys why people are like that, okay? It's because the ones that they're thinking of are very specific types of shamans. They are not, because I still consider people a shaman if they are a shou, which is like a psychic or a medium, right? I still consider them shamans. Those people will not have the exact symptoms as the ones who are supposed to bring people to the other side, right? Okay, you guys, sorry, you guys. I don't know where that accent came from. Anyways, but the thing is, the incidences of shamans who are born to they were supposed to do it when they were a baby, basically, or they are going to die if they don't do it. It's because they've been running from it since they were young, okay? So those types, they are supposed to be the types who are onenkya, like they will go and have full ceremonies for people. Like you're going to be able to kill demons. You're going to be able to go and fix families, kanza, you know, fixing curses and cemeteries back in the old lands of Thailand and China, etc. So it's going to be, there are those type of shamans who are similar to me in my style. However, then you're going to have the shamans who are nengshous, you know, like they will never kanza. They will never fix you know, those cemeteries and curses and be able to bring children down for people. Okay, some of them can. I take that back. I'm sorry. Okay, some of them can, but you know what I'm saying? Like splitting spirits when a woman is pregnant. You know, like doing the old school type of Hmong shaman ceremonies that we are used to and accustomed to growing up. So that's why you have those naysayers who are like, oh, why are there so many shamans right now? Because it is a different generation. It is a different kind. Like I was considered a new age because I have the demon slaying side. And then I also have some psychic abilities. That's why I'm able to talk and see ghosts. That's why I'm able to talk to your spirit guides, wake them up, and like ask them questions. So that's why, because I have the two sides. So there was the old school, our grandfathers and grandfathers and grandfathers, right? They're the ones who we needed them back then, because the type of ghosts and demonic entities that existed in the lands where our ancestors came from, it was rampant. But if you come to a modern world where we live in America now, in big cities, you're not going to see a balloon crossing the parking lot, okay? Like that's not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, okay? People can manifest and bring these entities here. It is completely possible. I know for a fact. But anyways, they're not as prevalent anymore. That's what I'm saying. So what do we need now in the modern days when people are uncertain about so many things? What do the Hmong people need now? That is why shamanism is changing, okay? If you go out there now and you talk to the mass majority of people, they don't have the support to actually become a shaman. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen to that generation who can speak Hmong, can no longer have the support, and don't know the old ways of actually raising a shrine and doing the saka? What do you really think is going to happen? So people who are so against it all, they don't understand that the shamans who had the illnesses and they had it since they were born, we were fortunate. We were fortunate that we still have our ancestors here, or before they passed away, who passed it down and taught it to us. Not everybody has that. There's a lot of families now that are mixed. There are a lot of people who can't speak Hmong anymore, a lot of children. I mean, like, it's going to be people, your own children, so the world is going to evolve for shamanism. And this is something I've always said. It takes time, but trust me, when it happens, it's going to happen a lot faster than you guys are expecting. I still, to this day, get people asking me questions because they don't have the support. So how can they become a shaman, right? Shamanism is changing. I've met shamans who don't have support. They don't. They haven't found a teacher, their real teacher, and they are just raising their shrines, okay? These people they have not gone crazy, okay? So I'm just saying, shamanism is completely evolving, and it's different from what it used to be, right? So let's talk about tests. All right, so testing is for a lot of shamans who are not yet master shamans, okay? You guys are going to go through this. And again, these are going to be kind of vague and in general, but for you to get an idea, to think of it in a different way, right? So for tests, you have to think about it. Why are you going through this hardship? Why are you going through this? Because usually it's something you need to work on to become better. For example, I've always had support and love in my life, so I don't get tested in those ways. So for example, I didn't have to go through multiple teachers to find my real teacher. I didn't have to go through where I lost a lot of love and support from people, and everybody became afraid of me. Did people become afraid of me? Yes, they did. People did become afraid of me. But it's not something where I was shunned for it the way I've seen some people go through, okay? Like, my story is nothing compared to some people's. It's just, like, everybody reacts to it differently. And people get divorced over this, okay? Like, it is a huge thing where whole families will turn their back on others. So I'm just saying, I didn't have to go through those things. Instead, what did I have to go through? Okay, so because I can talk and see ghosts and spirits, right? They didn't test me on those things. Instead, they started to test me on random images. And what are they trying to tell me? So if I can hear, so what they're going to focus on now is pushing images into my mind, and I need to figure out what they want from those images, because images are faster in delivering messages than waiting for the voice to finish talking, right? So if I can just quickly see the image, I can get it right away. If I can just quickly get the feeling, I can get it right away. So those were the kind of things that I went through, because with talking to spirits and everything, I was doing that since I was a baby. So I got really good at it, okay? So, like, I remember I used to question, like, how do you know your spirit guides and stuff like that, right? So I used to wonder, because they've always been there. So I never had to realize what it was like not having them. So I struggled with that, because, like, there's stories of the old ways. They were like, you know, oh, once you become a shaman, the spirits will come and take you, you know. So I'm like, I wonder what it's gonna feel like. I thought I was gonna die, you guys. I was like, well, I don't want to feel a spirit around me all the time. I really was like my whole life. I just, if anything, I don't know what it's not like to have spirits around me. Now, I will say that my spirit guides, they know I'm not the kind of person who listens well. So if you've ever had to witness me during a ceremony, I am frequently talking to myself because as I'm doing things, I'm getting yelled at. Oh, okay. And then I have to acknowledge them. I have to acknowledge that I heard and I'm doing it, or else I keep getting yelled at. So, you know, like it's really weird seeing me do it because then I'll be like doing random things, talking to myself constantly. But yeah, that's how it is for me. All right. So let's say you are a shaman who cannot see, right? When you go into the spirit world, you can't see anything. I know a lot of shamans like this. And I will say a lot of shamans are not meant or ever going to see, okay? So what you need to realize from that is you need to stop trying to see. That's not what they're trying to test you on. They're not testing you until you can finally see. No, they want you to test your other abilities. They don't want you to see. You're supposed to trust your gut instinct. That is what you're being tested on. You need to let go of it. The need and the crave to want to see because you hear other shamans can see. So that's all you try to focus on, getting the ability to be able to see. If you enter the spirit world and right away you cannot see, usually that just means you won't. However, there is a way to be able to see. And the way, it's not really an easy way. You have to either become a master shaman for many, many years, you guys. You're doing tons of services for the community to raise your levels and your ranks, okay? Or you have to raise about 20 to 30 students, and then you're going to be able to see in the spirit world. So I don't want people, just because you can't see, that's all you focus on, okay? It will come with many, many years of practice for those who can't see right now. And you're trying to focus on just seeing. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. But people hang on to it because in real life, we're used to our vision as our main senses of communication. But you're not meant to have that. What's going to happen though is you're supposed to become really great at your gut instinct where it happens really quick, and you're going to be very accurate. Now, let's say you're a shaman who can see spirits and ghosts, right? But you can't hear them. You can't talk to them, okay? You need to understand that you have to figure out different ways to communicate with them. What do they want? Why are they always there? Of course, naturally, people are going to be very scared of them, especially if you can't hear them. However, I need you to remember, just because you can't hear them, it doesn't mean they can't hear you. So, this may creep people out, but what you need to do is stop being scared around them and just tell them, what do you want? You need to show me what you want. I don't understand it. And you will realize they will change and they will start to do things to show you what they want. It is insanely creepy, okay? Like, I mean, if you're somebody who can see them, okay, you're probably used to it by now, but it is very creepy, but they will communicate back with you because then they'll understand you can't hear them. Now, I will say spirits can tell, though, when you can't hear them, okay? It's kind of like when I can tell when a ghost can't see me or they're like looping and they're not paying attention to me versus a ghost who can see me and is moving towards me. Okay, like you can tell. Like you can tell and feel the signs. But you're supposed to communicate with them in a different way. That's why. Now, let's say you are a shaman who cannot hear. Okay, so you know how sometimes I talk about I hear voices? Like, or like I'm doing things and then my spirit guides will just yell at me and they'll tell me something to do something. Not every shaman will do that. Not every shaman will have that ability. So just because you hear me and you see my stories and experiences, the mass majority of shamans who I have met did not have another voice talking to them. It's a gut feeling. It's an image sometimes they'll see. It is not this chatterbox, okay? Like even my own spirit guides, they're not a chatterbox. They don't talk constantly, okay? I've been working with my younger sister. She has a production company for like filming, etc. So we're going to be doing skits together, and I have to write out the verses of what my spirit guides actually say to me, because it's not normal sentences all the time. Okay, like it depends on which one's talking to. So they're not constant chatterboxes. They're more always observing and watching people, and then they'll tell me little messages here and there. But it's not like, hi, how are you doing? Like, oh my God, I just went to the other room and I saw a mouse. You know, like, it's not like that, you guys. It's not like that. So I will say a lot of people struggle with the voicing, especially when it comes to when you are in the spirit world. Okay, don't focus when you're not in the spirit world. The most shamans, when they're not in the spirit world, they don't hear a voice. Okay, they don't. Now, when they are in the spirit world, this voice I'm talking about, it just, for me, let's talk about my example. I heard it in the distance, right? So when I'm onenging and I'm in the spirit world and I'm shaking and I'm going, when the first time it happened, I heard it in the distance. Like, it's like a faint echo, but then you hear the ringings of your bells. So you're kind of like, am I hearing a voice in the bells? Oh, and one thing you can do, okay, it's kind of weird, okay, but have you ever heard of white noise? When you just have the TV on and it's static, or the radio on and it's static, can you hear a voice? I'm just saying, okay, like, I know it sounds weird, but usually I can hear a voice. Anyways, so the whole point of this is I was in the spirit world and I'm shaking and I'm going with my rings, but all you can hear is the rings. But then I heard, like, you hear a faint voice in the distance, and then it starts to come closer, and then I know it's embarrassing, and sometimes it's not even a language you can understand. Okay, like, imagine hearing a language you can't speak or you've never heard of, and you're told to repeat it on the spot. Okay, like, it's just try it. Okay, like, but then that's what happened to me when I was able to hungo. I heard it in the distance, and then it started to get louder because I'm trying to strain and hear it, but there's like loud bells going on, and then all of a sudden I just tried it, and then what happens is it just, boom, it takes over you and it just comes out. Like, it literally just came out, and then I no longer heard that voice. It just comes out of me now. Now, I will say that the time between I was supposed to raise my final shrine, my third level shrine, I had to wait until my teacher was available because she's busy every weekend. So during that time, my spirit guides taught me chants over and over. All of the tunes that I will ever go through, all of those spells and what they're supposed to be. And then now I can just, you know, like, when I'm relaxed, I still hungo, like, pretty often. Like, you know, if I'm stuck in traffic, if I'm doing my makeup, you know, like, if it's a nice sunny day and I'm just relaxed, I just hungo. Like, it just comes out naturally. It's kind of weird. Now let's say it's utter silence and you've been going and you still do not hear a voice, you guys. You need to consider a couple of things. The biggest obvious possible scenario is going to be you do not have the right teacher, because the ability to do your chants for a monk shaman is non-negotiable. You have to be able to do chants. Without the chants, you are not the type of shaman who is like me, where we do full ceremonies. So, are you going to be a show, which is basically a psychic or a medium? Psychics and mediums, their chants, I don't know. I've never heard of one in real life. Okay. They've never done chants. Okay, the one that I've seen, they kind of like Shayai, and Shayai is looking and seeing. It's a session, basically. So when I Shayai for people, sometimes I do chants. Sometimes I get on my whole bench and everything. It depends on the task and what they're asking me to look at. But sometimes if it's something lighter, I just look at, you know, candles and chonda, which is like just basically the Hmong money, like the Asian Joss money. So that's pretty much what I do. But I will say some shamans who are more show style, they just pull tarot cards and stuff like that. So there is no chanting that goes on through that. I'm not saying all of them do not chant, okay? I'm not speaking for them. I'm only speaking from my experiences, you guys. So if you are a psychic or a medium and you do chants, I'm sorry. You probably do. I just don't know better. Now, other warning signs, it's going to be if you actually feel very, very sad or depressed. Even if you start crying in your sessions when you're going into the spirit world, something is wrong with your spirit guides. And so your teacher should be looking into that. or else it comes out of you. If you don't hear that voice in the far distance like I did, it will come out of you. Like, it literally, you just have to start talking. And I will say this as well. This is from experience from other shamans who have told me that this has happened to them. They will actually sometimes feel it, and then they'll say a few words, and then they'll stop, and then it goes away. And then later on, they'll have a few more words, and then it goes away. However, that should not continue for a very long period of time. Because again, like I said, the chants that shamans do, among shamans, it is non-negotiable. Some lineages of shamans, among shamans, they do have a teacher who records it, and then they send it to them, the recording. And then they have to practice the recordings. But that's not in my lineage. We don't allow that. It has to come from within, because we are taught that your spirit guides are the ones who teaches it to you, not your physical real teacher. Now let's say you're a shaman who is struggling with connecting with your spirit guides. You don't know their names, you don't feel them, you don't know their feel. Like, I can tell when they're here, like the presence of different spirit guides when they come out, I can feel it in the air. If you don't know what they look like, or, you know, sometimes people don't know what they look like, but sometimes you can ask your spirit guides and they will push images into your head, okay? But, and that's when you're just sitting around, okay? But anyways, because I was going to say, sometimes people who go into the spirit world, they can't see anything. So you'll never see your spirit guides in the spirit world. Now, you should get a feeling of them, though. And when I say that, think of like your sibling or your mom or your dad. You should know what their presence feels like, right, when they're around you. So it's similar to your spirit guides. You should know their presence. You should be able to feel it. Now, let's say you still don't know any of that, okay? It only means that it's going to take you longer to finally become a master shaman. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? You have to understand, shamans of everybody, they're all at different journeys and places, and it depends on who they were in the spirit world, how many lifetimes have they been a shaman. So you're going to have shamans who are like that, and they're done. That, you know, they know everything. Like, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to have those types. And then you're going to have the types who take longer. It's because you're younger, that's all. And it's going to take you a lot longer to get to know your spirit guides, their names, calling them, what do they actually do. Because even if you don't know their names, you should be able to call them. That's actually pretty true. I once came across these spirit guides, and I had no idea what their names were. But then I was told to grab them because they're mine. So I grabbed them, and then I didn't know what they were called, and I needed them. Because I knew what they did, and then they just came out. Because they can tell what you want and what you need. So it takes time. I do know their names now, but it took time. It took time. And finally, let's say you're the shaman who struggles with support. So I will say this. Shamans who struggle with support, you actually have the ability to become a great shaman. And you are meant to go through these things to humble you. Humble you, okay? It is meant to humble you, for you to feel helpless, so that way you can help others in the future. However, you also have the greatest chances of going dark as a shaman, because if you do not grow with a pure white heart, oh man, it is so easy to fall to the other side. Because you're going to have people who are like, you know, like, because they get slighted before they become a shaman, and then you will find a way. Everybody has a window of opportunity where it comes. It will finally come to you, and you have to grab it, and you have to take action and raise yourself. And you will be so more self-sufficient as a shaman, and you will really you will love onenging. You will love it, okay? You won't be lazy like me. Okay, you will like, I'm serious though. People who really, really want to become a shaman, and they have the signs, and they already know things, right? They're dreaming of it, and it's happening to them, but they have no support. They, 9 out of 10 times, will become some of the greatest shamans who are very strong. And you will learn many different types of things you could do. But with that comes great responsibility, man. I'm not even trying to rip this. It is just true. Because you if you don't remember to stay humble and when you were helpless and to really help others, anybody can, okay, not anybody, but there are a lot of them who know really dark magic, basically. You have to remember who you are. And that's why I've done those videos about remembering who you are, and don't compromise yourself. If you compromise yourself, trust me, you get punished. They come for you. They do. And so it's not something you ever want to do, because I'm really good at knowing about negotiation and what you gave up. Okay, like, so I'm just saying, you guys, you know, people don't see far sometimes, especially when they're angry. It's hard for them to see far, but it's always there. I'm just saying. All right, guys, don't forget the giveaway. Next time I upload my next video, I will be announcing the winners. You just have to share this video on Facebook, and 3 lucky people will get a 30-minute session to ask me anything they want, anything. And then now I do want to also let you guys know, next video I'm going to talk about, because people were asking about this, about not trusting your spirit guides, because sometimes they give you wrong information. So we'll be going into that in the next video. Until next time, you guys.